Hello everybody, 10th Dr. Matt here, and welcome to Props, Mannerisms, and more. In this video we're going to be talking about the various props and gadgets that you might want to have along with you with your 10th Doctor cosplay. And also for each prop I'm going to briefly go over which pocket you might want to have it in, so that way, you know, if you really want to have it in sort of the same place that David stored his gadgets, you'll be good to go. And for those of us who like to be really in character at conventions and things, aside from the props and gadgets, I'm also going to cover sort of what kind of accent you're going to want to use, as well as some famous phrases and mannerisms to really complete your 10th Doctor cosplay. Alright, so before we get started with props, I just wanted to quickly cover something that I haven't gone over in my previous videos, and that is the shoes, because that is a major important part of this cosplay, as you might imagine. So, if you're going to be wearing the brown suit, you're going to want to go with the unbleached white high-top Converse, which I have right here. These are not regular white. The regular white ones look like this and will be super bright. So the unbleached is the look that you want. And as you can see, mine are a bit dirty because I just wear them all the time. So, you know, the doctor's shoes are pretty beat up because he runs everywhere all the time. So if you have the opportunity to wear them for a while, just while you're out and about, and kind of dirty them up a bit, that's even better. And if you're going with the blue suit, you're going to want to buy maroon Converse. Not the red ones. Don't get the red ones. Here they are, maroon, not red, as you can see. They're actually quite a bit darker than the normal red ones. The normal red ones, if you wear those with the blue suit, they're going to look a bit like clown shoes because they're just so bright. I mean, there's nothing against them. I like the red ones, personally. But the maroon ones look way better, and they match well with the sort of burgundy, rusty stripes on the suit. The problem with the maroon Converse is that they actually sort of discontinued them. I was extremely lucky when I was buying mine. They only had a few sizes left, and they happened to have my size. And shortly after I bought my pair, they discontinued them. But it's not all bad news. If you actually buy these from the actual Converse website, you can do the sort of design your own Converse, and so what you can do is just sort of design a plain one and use the maroon color so that you still get the right shoe. Now, when you're ordering your Converse, if you're not actually going to a store to buy them, you want to make sure that you order them a bit smaller than you would your typical shoes. They generally run pretty big. For example, normally when I buy shoes, I'm generally around like a 12, 12 and a half. And for the Converse, a size 11 fits absolutely perfectly. So if I were to buy a size 12 in the Converse, they would be way too big. Anyway, so now that the shoes are out of the way, let's jump right into props. Alright, so number one most important prop, as you can imagine, screwdriver. Now, as far as the sonic screwdriver goes, you have kind of a few choices as to what you may want to buy. The most common one is the toy prop. And there are a few versions of that. The sort of original version that I'll call it is the one with the UV light at the end. It's not actually blue, it ends up being kind of purpley. And on the other end it has the pen nib, and you can swap that out with the hidden ink pen nib that the UV light reveals. I had that one originally, and I was trying to modify it, and I sort of broke it. So here are the bits and pieces of my UV light sonic screwdriver. So when I bollocksed up that one, I went and purchased the Wave 2 toy, and if you're not familiar with the various waves, basically there was the UV, there was a wave of a screwdriver that was basically the same exact thing as the UV, but it just had a blue light on the end and a regular pen nib on the other end. It didn't have the UV light, so it was like slightly better. This is the Wave 2, so it has a blue light on the end, and no more pen nib. This part still does come off for some weird reason. I don't know why, but I just super glued mine in place so that it doesn't fall off in my pocket or anything. I also did some other modifications to this, but I'll cover that in a future video. Anyhow, the difference between Wave 1 and Wave 2 is mostly in the sound chip. For the Wave 2 one, they used the same sound chip, I believe, as they did in the 11th Doctor's screwdriver, so you have a little bit more accurate of a sound. My one gripe with the new sound chip is that you get the two nice new Who sounds, and then you also get two classic Who sounds, which some people might like, but my issue with it is that they just cycle through, so each time you press the button it just plays the next sound in the row. So you get these two good new Who sounds, and so those are great, they sound good, but next in the cycle, and then next. So, kind of weird. Maybe it's cool for some people. I don't really like it because obviously the 10th Doctor screwdriver never made either of those sounds. So, after a while of messing with that one, I decided to splurge a little bit, and I actually went and bought myself the universal remote screwdriver, which, if you're going for screen accuracy, this is the way to go. As you can see, if I hold them up side by side, the universal remote screwdriver is actually quite a bit smaller, and the original prop is actually this size. They did some 3D laser scans of David's screwdriver, and this is the one. And the nice part about this, unlike the toy one, if you haven't modified it like I have, the toy one, usually these are the buttons. Like, you can press the button here when it's closed, and then you can press this button when it's extended for the sounds, instead of having the button on the slider. But the universal remote has the button on the slider, which is nice. And when you actually extend the thing, you can see inside that it's not that weird blue, blackish helix. It's yellow wires like it actually was in the show. The end is a little bit more rounded. And these bits here are actual aluminum, which is nice. The rest of it is still plastic. The end cap does snap off, and that's where you plug it in to charge it, which is cool. Anyhow, I haven't actually used this as a universal remote yet, so once I do that for a while, I'll probably be doing a review video of this as well, but I've been using this in FX mode, which basically just turns it into a prop. So, the cool thing about this is that if you just hold the button down, you get your normal screwdriver sound. And where the speaker is, when you have it extended, it's a bit louder. Which I guess makes sense because, as it's extended, it's kind of intensifying. The other cool thing about this is that you do get a bunch of other sounds that David's screwdriver did make, like if it was kind of broken, or if you're doing a scanning thing. And so you get a lot of functionality out of this. The only downside is that this is considerably more expensive. This is around $100, $120, whereas the toy prop is generally around $20, $25. But the nice part about this is that it is actually a universal remote, and in FX mode it has a mode where it can turn on and off almost any TV without needing to be programmed. So if you're in Best Buy, you can mess with people. So, with the sonic screwdriver, generally that's going to go inside the coat. I like to keep it on the left side so that I can grab it with my right hand. There are some episodes where David kind of switches it up a bit, and he has it on the other side, or he grabs it with his left hand if he's doing something else with his right hand. I just like putting it on the left side because we have this nice small pocket, and if you put it in there, it sticks out just enough that you can grab it easily, and the pocket's narrow, so it's going to stand straight up. Whereas if you put it in this pocket, the pocket's a bit wide, and so it can actually end up sort of laying flat on the bottom, and when you have this all buttoned up, it might be hard to kind of reach way down in there to get it. The other option is to put it in the inside pocket of the overcoat. Sometimes just a little bit easier to get at when you're moving around a lot in a con and that sort of thing. Second most important prop, Brainy specs. So you have a number of options with the glasses, which is nice. Some people will have these as their real glasses, so they just wear them all the time. I do wear glasses in real life, but I generally wear contacts so that I don't have to have these on all the time. These I got from Zenni Optical, and I believe they were between $15 and $20 for the non-prescription lenses, which is a great deal. They look fairly decent. And you can get these, you can get like a decent pair at even, Target, Walmart, dollar store. But good news for those of you who are screen accuracy junkies, Magnolia Clothiers is making replicas of David Tennant's glasses, and from their Facebook page, those are going to be hopefully ready sometime in the beginning of October. And if you go check out their Facebook page, you can see some pictures of the final prototype, and they look awesome. So, glasses, I like to keep these in the outer right pocket of the suit jacket. You do see David sort of reach in that pocket for them a number of times in the show, and it makes sense. I mean, it's an easy place to grab them quickly and just throw them on if you're looking at something closely. Third prop, psychic paper. And this is a cheesy one, I'll admit that readily. But the nice part is, this is super cheap to make. Basically, what all this is a leather passport cover that I bought, actually you can see on the back, passport, that I bought on Amazon for literally $4 or $5. And then I bought unlined plain index cards, and I just glued one in there. Granted, it doesn't look as screen accurate as some. There are people on Etsy who make some legitimate ones that look just like the one in the show, so I'll try to put a link for that down in the description box if you're interested in those. But, you know, for me, this is fine. I don't actually use the psychic paper all that much at conventions for whatever reason. I just don't think of it, or it's just not really that popular a prop. Most people kind of want the Sonic in the picture or something like that. But anyway, so if you want a quick, you know, $5, $6 prop, psychic paper. And this, generally, I like to store it in the outside left pocket of the overcoat. Again, because it's really easy to get at, and there are a few times in the show where you sort of see David go for it with the left hand, and it's just kind of like a quick, easy access to get at that. Next thing, this one is super cheap, 3D glasses. Isn't anybody going to ask, what's with the glasses? So these you can pretty much get anywhere. I'm sure you can get them on Amazon for like 20 cents. Or maybe just like in a box of Cracker Jack or something. I was actually given this pair at a convention. Somebody just had a bucket of them, and they saw me, and they said, "The doctor," and they just gave me a pair, and so it worked out. So now I have them. And these I generally like to keep in the outside left pocket of the suit jacket, just to kind of, on the other side of the Brainy specs, just glasses, glasses. It works. So those are actually all the props that I have. I mean, there are obviously others that the 10th Doctor used that you could go for. I mean, you can get like a cheap toy stethoscope to put in your coat. If you're really electronically savvy, I would love to see somebody make a machine that goes ding. Goes ding when there's stuff. If you're going for a laid-back Doctor, you could go for like the straw hat, sunglasses, and Hawaiian lei look. You know, so there are a lot of different sort of combinations, and you can kind of figure out what you like and what look you really want to go for, and just have fun with it. So one other thing that I use, and this is obviously not for everybody, but as I'm sure you've noticed by now, I have gauges in my ears. I also have a earring that is usually up here, but that one's easy. I just take that one out, nobody would ever know. But these are 2-gauge earrings, so if I take these out, you can see these holes in my ears. So what I got are hider plugs. And that is what that looks like right there. Basically, all it is a squishy silicone earring that you put in, and they're just designed to make it look like you don't have earrings at all. So if I go ahead and put those in, voila, I no longer have earrings. I mean, granted, you know, if you're up close, you can sort of tell, but at a distance, at a quick glance, nobody's going to be the wiser. So that about covers it for props, so now we can move on to some phrases and mannerisms. So, first things first, obviously if you want to be in character as the 10th Doctor, you're going to need to figure out how to talk with an English accent. Granted, yes, David Tennant is actually Scottish, but he does the English accent brilliantly. So I'm going to put up actually a couple of videos right now that I looked at, and they're just like super helpful, and they give you sort of little tips and tricks to like mouth shapes and that sort of thing to really get you to have a natural sounding English accent. And I'll have the links for those down in the description box as well. So, I mean, doing a really good English accent takes a while. I certainly have not mastered it yet myself, so feel free to make fun of me if it's really terrible. But anyway, the 2 videos are super helpful. So it's going to take some time, so watch some videos, just watch Doctor Who and kind of like watch their mouths move. As weird as that sounds, it really does kind of help get you speaking properly. So once you have the English accent down, you're going to want to just learn some key phrases. So obviously, most importantly, I'm the Doctor. And then the ever popular, allons-y, molto bene, bellissimo, the one that I like to use a lot. What? 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 Others that you can use frequently. I think it's brilliant. You were brilliant. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Or if you meet up with a Captain Jack Harkness, stop it! Just stop it! Oh, don't start! Maybe if you're with Donna or Rose, no. Don't do that. No, really don't. And then there's my personal favorite. Well. And you can also mess around with some other stuff. Shimmer! Roast beef, bananas, shamble, bobble, dibble, dooble. Rose, Tyler, Martha Jones, Donna Noble, TARDIS. So, obviously the 10th Doctor has a multitude of phrases, some funny, some not so funny, that you can kind of mess around with and pick some to your liking. And but to go along with those, you got to get the mannerisms down as well. So one thing that I really never see anybody do, but you do see the 10th Doctor do it pretty often, is some sort of various uses of the sonic screwdriver. So, you know, you have your usual, but then occasionally you do also see him kind of gripping it like a stabbing motion almost, using the slider. That actually is a bit tough to do with the universal remote because the slider clicks into place at the bottom and the top, so you just have to make sure you really hold the button down pretty firmly so that you don't let go and kind of mess up the sound effect that's happening. The random shout is another one. Oh! No! Yes! No! This must be biographies!
Maiden! What does that mean?
Bang! Wham! Another thing is the sort of wide-eyed look that you do see him get a lot of the time. I can't! I can't! The tongue thing. And at every convention, you're bound to run into at least a few people who want some sad feels. Her name was Rose. Does it need saying? Quite right, too. Rose Tyler. So that about does it for my Props, Mannerisms, and More video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful, and I hope my English accent wasn't too terrible for you. So coming up in the future on my channel, I'm planning on doing a video on how I modified my toy sonic screwdriver, as well as a review on the universal remote. And if there are any other videos that you guys would like me to make, please let me know in the comments and I'd be happy to get working on those for you. If you'd like to help support me and my channel so that I can continue to buy and review some more Magnolia and other replica items for you, I'm going to put a link down in the description box for PayPal donations. So thank you in advance for anybody who feels like donating. And also please feel free to check out my Ultimate Tenant Hair tutorial to get some amazing hair like me. Bye!